Hey everyone, it's Duncan from Overland Journals. Today's video, time for some long-term reviews on some gear I've had for quite a while. Welcome back everyone. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscription button and the notification bell because my channel is all about sharing my experiences in overlanding with the rest of the community, and I bring out a video every single week. So today's video is some product impressions or product reviews long term. I've had these products for over a year, so I thought I'll talk about it and give you my honest opinion about them. I'm by no means sponsored by these brands in any way, and I'm also not saying these are the best products in the market or the best products money can buy. It's purely what I've got and what I think of them. So if you are thinking of this particular type of brand, perhaps it'll help you. So the first product is my Tyredog tire pressure monitoring system. Year down the track, has it worked for me? Do I like it? Do I not like it? Then my Intervolt DC to DC charger. What do I think of this after a year? And my LED lanterns, which I bought on a whim. What I mean by that is every time, to me, when I go overlanding and go remote particularly, quality and reliability is the utmost importance to me. So when I buy a product, it's never based on price, but it's based on those two criteria. However, I did break that rule when I bought these, and that's because it was one late evening trying to search for some other product, and then this popped up as a suggested buy on eBay, as they do, and the driving force was the price. It was cheap. So I thought, what the heck, let me give it a try. So has it worked for me? Am I happy with them, or is it just cheap? Keep watching this video till the end and you'll find out. At the end of this video, if you found it useful, please give it a thumbs up. If you've got questions, comments, or your own thoughts about these products or brands, maybe you've had some experience with them, please leave them in the comments below. So the Tyredog tire pressure monitoring system, the unit I have, it's a wireless system. I wanted to get a simple system where there was no hard wiring involved. So basically it works off 4 sensors, one on each wheel, and then this wireless unit that reads out the tire pressures and tire temperatures. There is another model above this which has 5 sensors, and then a one above that which has 6 sensors. That will be ideal if you're carrying 1 or 2 spare wheels, or maybe you've got a trailer and you want to monitor the pressures in your trailer as well. In my case, 4 would be more than enough. Spare wheel, I wasn't really, I didn't have the need to keep monitoring the spare as well. And you can set the upper limit on the tire pressures and the lower limit, as well as upper limit on tire temperatures, and the moment it goes beyond those thresholds, it gives you a warning. Now I did do a video as soon as I had got this unit over a year ago. Go check it out in the playlist, and I'll leave it in the description below. And it's worked perfectly well for me. In fact, even the batteries that came with this unit is still a year and a bit old, and no signs of batteries running out, so pretty pleased with that. Done a number of trips ever since I've got this, and it constantly gave me those tire pressures. One thing to keep in mind is when you drop your tire pressures, in sort of hard terrain where you need to drop pressures, if it goes below that lower threshold that you've set, it just keeps, giving that alarm bell, which can be a bit annoying. But the nice thing is you get a mute button up here, hit the mute button, and then, you don't have that hassle anymore. So it worked very well. And once a number of months ago, when I was driving in the city, I didn't realize my front passenger tire was leaking from the valve. It was just a loose valve, and this quickly alerted me to it, so it saved the day. So it has been very useful, and I really don't have anything to complain about, except perhaps, and this is not unique just to this unit, it's with any unit where you mount using the suction cup type mount, during especially hot days, especially now Aussie summers, they tend to come off more regularly than you would like. So if there is any complaint, that's it. But apart from that, I'm pretty happy with this unit a year down the track. Intervolt DC to DC charger. Now I've had this for a little over a year, and it basically looks after my dual battery system. I've got my cranking battery on that end, and I've got my AGM deep cycle battery here. If down the track I decided to upgrade or change over to, let's say, a lithium ion battery, all I have to do is get this reprogrammed, and then it will work with that new type of battery. So it is kind of future proofed, you could say. And it's done its job. I'm pretty happy with it. Those of you who've been following my channel for a while will know that I did have a problem with my deep cycle battery when I did the recent Flinders trip, and that has nothing to do with this unit. It's purely my fault. I didn't my battery maintenance program while the vehicle is parked wasn't really working. So it's not the unit's problem. The unit did. However, the unit did give me some forewarning, which I completely sort of disregarded for whatever reason, and I'll come to that in a minute. The other thing I like about this unit, and unlike many of the other units out in the market, this comes with a standard supplied LCD display, and I found that quite invaluable. So come on in and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So with the DC to DC charger, what I found really useful is this LCD display unit, which comes standard supplied. At least at the time when I bought this unit, that was a year ago, a little over a year ago, that came standard. And at the time when I was doing the research, none of the other brands were supplying it as standard part of the unit. It was all optional extras. So considering the price point and this unit coming standard, that's one of the attractions I had, and it's pretty cool and pretty useful. So what it does is it gives me a readout. Now if I press this button, the top readout is what the voltage of the auxiliary battery is, and the bottom readout is the voltage of my cranking battery. So at a glance, I get to see if both batteries are charged up or not. Now I switch off from that, and then what it does is when I'm on the go, it tells me the top again would be the voltage of the auxiliary battery, and down here would be how much amperage is being pumped in by the charger to keep the auxiliary battery topped up. Now usually when I switch on the engine, my battery is being maintained up to that point, start the motor, there is no consumption happening, there's none of my accessories running. Usually the unit pumps between 0.3 and 0.5 amps. That is just to keep the battery topped up. Now, moment I start switching on one accessory at a time, so like this fridge, the fridge at the back, the lights and so on, this readout, the amperage being pumped in by the charger, would obviously keep going up. So on one hand, it gives me the confidence that the unit is doing its job as it's supposed to. And secondly, if there is excessive consumption happening, for whatever reason, I get to see it. Now, because I know my 4B and my accessories pretty well, I know what the top end draw should be. So the amount of charge being pumped in by the charger into the battery should be around about there. So the moment it goes to excessive, I know that. I know it's being excessive, so it prompts me to go and investigate where the extra draw is coming from. Now, when I did the Flinders trip, and those of you who watch those videos would know that I did have a problem in my the auxiliary battery going flat, and that was purely my fault. And further my fault because this did warn me well before I went on the trip, and I just completely disregarded it. So what happened was I pulled out the 4B and I took it out to get the tanks filled. There was no consumption as far as the auxiliary battery was concerned. None of the accessories were running, and yet this was pumped, the DC charger was pumping close to about 8 to 9 amps. I should have immediately asked the question, why is so much amperage being pumped in to top up that battery when that battery should have been topped up as it is? I never did, I never bothered, my fault, and I paid the price while I was on the trip having to go looking for a new battery. So I found this unit in general, but particularly because of this readout, to be super useful. So a year down the track, I'm very happy with it. Okay, so this is not some kind of a Halloween video, though I'm shooting it on Halloween. It's part of my long-term reviews video. So, lanterns. Let me switch them on first so you can see me clearly. Okay, so you can see me a bit better now. Now, I don't always advocate cheap, because when you go out there in overlanding, remote particularly, you don't want equipment that's going to fail you. However, when it comes to certain types of products, I don't really mind basing it on price. And that's what I did with these lanterns. And it's 3 of them I got off eBay 6 years ago. And I think if I remember correctly, I paid $30 for all 3. And it was purely a decision I based on price at the point. In fact, I was searching for something else on eBay, and then this popped up in one of those suggested kind of products. And I thought, what the heck, $30, if I can use it, get life out of it for 6 months and then chuck it, I'm happy with it. And that was the mentality I had in buying these, because this was something, if it broke down, it wasn't the end of the world or the end of the trip for me, and I didn't really care. And to my surprise, as I said, 6 years later, it's still running. Now, I did do a video about these products, I think that was 3 years ago. It's still in the channel somewhere. I'll leave the link in the description below. But I've had them for 6 years. They sit at the back of the 4B in a box. It gets tossed around. Sometimes I hang them on the cargo barrier. And they get put through a lot of abuse. But it's still as good as the day I bought them. Surprise, surprise. It comes with 3 settings. For the purpose of this video, I'm actually on the lowest setting because it just overexposes the image, but it can go as 3 stages up. There you go. But I notch it down 1 because it's a bit too much on the image. There you go. So I'll just drop it down a little bit. That's a bit better. Yeah, and how it works, and it's not trying to promote a brand because this doesn't even have a brand name. I just picked it off eBay, and this one gets charged using a USB cable. Because it's a 6-year-old product technology, the charge time is rather long. It takes about almost 6 hours to get a full charge. But the beauty is, once it's fully charged, it lasts a considerable long time. Now, kid you not, I put this to test on a full charge, and if I don't use it, the full charge remains for almost 4 to 5 months. There might be a little bit of a drop off, but nothing for me to notice. On the other hand, if I do put it to use and I keep it on full power, it gives me a solid 3 hours. That's considerable. And at a campsite, when I've got 3, I don't really need to run it on the highest level of brightness. And it works, as you can see from this video. So, as part of this long-term reviews video that I'm doing, the moral of the story when it comes to this particular product is you don't really have to go high-end. Cheap sometimes works. So I hope you found this video useful. If you did like it, give it a thumbs up. If you've got questions or comments, leave them below. And thanks for watching. For those of you who haven't subscribed, please hit the subscription button and the notification bell, because my channel is all about sharing my experiences in overlanding with the rest of the community, and I bring out a video every single week. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in a week's time.